Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Veg Networking Canada. It's important to honor, acknowledge, and respect that many of us are located on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territories of many Indigenous peoples of Canada. Here we are, Veg Networking Canada, where vegan plant-based companies connect and collaborate. Today, we have a special guest with us who has been a fashion entrepreneur for over a decade. He is an advocate for fair wage and sustainable earth-conscious practices and a passionate world traveler. Veg Networking Canada is pleased to introduce the co-founder of Grounded People. Welcome, Maximilian Justus.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me today. Very nice to meet you.
Well, we're so happy to hear about your own personal story and as well, of course, about your business. That's what Veg Networking Canada is centered on, a group around entrepreneurs and business owners who connect and collaborate. So starting on the personal level, can you share with everybody who's going to be listening a little bit more about your own personal vegan origin story?
Definitely, yeah. So I was actually raised vegetarian. My mom raised me vegetarian. We always had like little magnets on the fridge that said "No cows in here, no pigs in here." It was very much part of my upbringing. So it's always been something that I've been aware of and been conscious of. And then that just kind of transpired into my daily life. Being raised vegetarian, I don't have a craving for meat ever. It's a lot of people I know sort of, if they don't have it incorporated into their diet, they feel like they're missing something. But I never had that issue ever because of how I was raised. So it's always just been a part of who I am as a person and what my mother bestowed upon me for the rest of my life.
Wow. And that
Yeah.
transition from vegetarian to vegan, when did that take place?
So it really started when I started the company. I'd eaten vegetarian, mainly pescatarian. And then when I started the company, I really thought, okay, so, this is something that I really want to dive into further and, explore the options of what's it like to fully commit to being vegan. And I actually found it incredibly easy, and I live in Vancouver, so we live in such a great city for it. There's so many amazing options and it's really just part of the culture here. So I found it really, easy for me to make that transition, and it was very smooth. So I've been enjoying it quite a bit.
Well, that's great for people to hear that, it's not maybe as much of a struggle as it was 10 years ago or what have you, whether you're in a city like Vancouver or even in a city like Calgary, these options are plentiful. So moving from personal to professional, can you share a little bit more about your entrepreneurial spark, your entrepreneurial spirit, and where that started? I know that you got into sort of eco-friendly fashion over a decade ago. Maybe that's where it started, or maybe it was something before that.
Well, I got to credit my mom again. She always had sewing projects going on. It was something that was a passion of hers. So I was always interested in design, and I always had that around me when I was growing up. So even, my brother, he was a graphic designer. We just, as a child, I would work on different images that we would then print and then put onto clothes. So it was always something that was sort of just in my mind. And when I had the opportunity to start a direct-to-garment printing business, I started researching about where the garments were coming from and who was producing them, sort of just, educating myself on what was happening. So I understood like the full process of it. And I realized I started to get more educated on the negative environmental impacts of the fashion industry and the mass production of products being produced, that have negative environmental impacts, whether it's like the ecosystems that are surrounding the factories, if they're dyeing the fabrics that they're using, or the treatment of the people that are working there. There's so many things that need to be improved on. So when I got into the industry, I started thinking, there must be a way to provide a solution for these things while also providing, a stylish look for something. And I really have always, had an appreciation for shoes. And when the idea came, I just jumped on it right away and started developing it. And, through more research and development, I was able to partner with a fantastic manufacturer who was one of the first fully vegan shoe factories on the planet. And, I'm very proud of that and the work that we do there. We provide a safe working condition for the people at the factory, and we pay fair wages, actually 50% over what the national average is for somebody who works in a factory in Brazil. So through our partnership, we're able to improve the quality of life of the people that live there, and in turn their families, and sort of grow that positive effect, and just keep continuing that.
Very, very admirable. So when it comes to sustainable earth conscious practices in the industry that you're in, whether it's specifically to footwear or not, what are some trends or transformations that you have come up against or spotted?
Yeah, so I think it's something that's constantly being developed. Like the innovation in the industry is just amazing. You know, there's always something new. There's a new textile. There's a new innovative sort of fabric that we can use, whether it's, you know, cactus leather, mushroom leather, you know, apple peels. Like it's just astonishing to see how many great things there are being used and in development. So I think, you know, where every blockade comes, there's a link with that to make sure that we're moving forward with, you know, the processes, and I'm constantly thinking about how we can reduce our environmental impact, and, you know, increase ways that we can spread awareness about it so that more people are thinking about it when they're purchasing their products. So it becomes more of, you know, instantly, okay, I see the shoe. How's it made? Who made it? What's it made with? Are they being paid fairly? These are things that need to be brought up on a daily basis when people are thinking about consuming products or buying products. And that way we sort of change the culture in purchasing and make it so that people are more aware of, you know, the decisions that they're making. They have impacts on the planet, on people. You know, these are not just items that they're purchasing. These are effects, really, right? So this is what people need to understand more.
Absolutely. So it sounds like to us that not a trend, because we don't want it to go away, but more a transformation, if you would, is I guess you could say supply chain transparency, all the way from sort of beginning to buying that product. Very cool.
Yeah. And that's something that we really focused on. And so I partnered with a company called Retraced, which actually is a blockchain technology for fashion. And so when you go to our website, you can click on one of the shoes and it'll show you every single component of the shoe and the factory where it came from before it got to our manufacturing facility. So it shows our distribution centers, it shows where we get our packaging for our boxes from, it shows where we get our laces, the outsoles, the uppers, like literally every single piece of the shoe can be retraced to its origin factory before it reaches our manufacturer. So full transparency is something that was really important to us because we're really proud of what we've accomplished here. And we think that other people should be able to see what we're doing. And also we hope to lead the way for other companies as to have that as part of just their business.
Yeah, and introducing that to the public and to consumers, there's obviously going to be a section of the population that finds that important and interesting and something that they're searching for. But for those who might not know what they don't know, putting that information in front of them allows them to become empowered to then think that way with other things or products, services that they use in their day-to-day life. So very, very interesting. So the next question for you is, what is the future of Grounded People? And we always like to ask if you could walk us up to speed sort of from start to where we are today to give us a little bit of context of what the future looks like.
Definitely, yeah. So we incorporated the company in 2020, and we did, you know, research and development, prototyping, finding the proper manufacturer. So we actually launched December 24th of 2021. So we're getting to just about a year that we've been in business. We actually released a number of different colorways, same design, and it was going really great, and everything's been fantastic for us. We actually took the company public on October 5th. So we're now a publicly traded company on the CSE. And now we have a revision of the shoes coming up where we've made the shoes more durable. We've added lots of great components to it. So that is happening right now. And then in the new year, we are looking to establish more partnerships through our Laces charity initiative. We're releasing a few new designs that I got to keep kind of close to the hand there. So I can't really say too much about them, but we have some great designs coming up. It's a great time for the company right now. We're really looking forward to 2023 and, you know, all the fun we're going to have expanding our business and you know, fulfilling future opportunities as well.
Wonderful. Okay, well, since you set it up so well, we're not going to poke and prod about the new designs and everything like that. It is worth mentioning that You can find Grounded People, Max mentioned, on the Canadian Securities Exchange, CSE. The ticker is, of course, how perfect, SHOE, SHOE, SHOE. So before we jump, can consumers get the black colorway?
So the black colorway will be releasing very soon. That is like that's a few different colors and then a few different types of designs actually that we've been working on. So we're really, really excited to be, able to showcase these new designs that we're going to be releasing, but we want to keep them close to hands to make sure that it's a surprise for all of our Grounded supporters. We like to gift them with these sort of things to keep people interested and excited about things that are happening at Grounded.
Yeah, absolutely. The whole community feel, absolutely. So you mentioned laces and what you're doing there, and that's a perfect segue into the next question, which is, what does giving back or charity mean to you and Grounded People?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of our core values that we started with was, we want to have positive effects on people, the planet, and the animals that we share the planet with. So the people, we thought it was always great to incorporate ways that our clients can also be involved as well. So we started a charity program which is called LACES. It stands for Learn to Achieve and Create Everlasting Sustainability. And so what we've done is partnered with a variety of different charity organizations globally. So we have tree planting, safe havens for at-risk youth, animal shelters, animal sanctuaries, sustainability education, climate, Make-A-Wish Foundation, BC Children's Hospital, food programs in New York. We have a huge variety of different charities that people can pick from. And so the way that it works is that when somebody's shopping on groundedpeople.com, they select their shoe and then they get prompted to for an additional pair of laces. So each charity organization has a different color of lace that they're associated with. So you pick the color of the lace for the charity that you want to support, and we donate 100% of the proceeds of that lace to that charity. So it's a great way to spread awareness about these different organizations that we work with, and also a great way for people to be able to showcase the charities that they support through the color of laces of the shoes that they pick.
Yeah, you touched on it at the end there. It's one thing to give back and a whole other thing to allow choice and empower the individual who is doing the giving back. So that's outstanding. And was that your idea or a combination of your team, or?
Yeah, it was. We were just thinking of different ways that we could make it a socially inclusive company where people could feel like they're, contributing to part of the solution. And it just felt like such a perfect fit. People giving people the option to select what charity they want to support, and also spreading awareness about all the other charities that we work with as well. Maybe somebody's very passionate about tree planting, but they didn't really know too much about the animal sanctuaries that we work with. So then they can, read about that, discover about that. And it's just a great way for us to spread the community and sort of spread more positivity with the organizations that we work with through educating more people about the great things that they're doing.
Yeah, it's an excellent system and an excellent way to disseminate information. Like, again, people don't know what they don't know. So to be able to give them an opportunity to learn something new, amazing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I feel very fortunate that we're able to sort of provide that to people. Not all companies, especially fashion companies, it's kind of a back thought. So for us, it was one of the standing pillars that we decided to go with. So to be able to offer that is something that I'm very grateful for.
Yeah, absolutely. And everybody's grateful for it as well. And that's the whole vision, mission, values-based economy, right? That's just starting to boom. Now, it's been a very inspirational conversation, the conversation we've had up to this point. And that's the next question for you is, what does inspiration mean to Max? What does it mean to Grounded People? What does it mean, and where do you source inspiration, and internally, externally? But the question is centered around inspiration.
Yeah. I find inspiration in all sorts of things. I really find inspiration in my colleagues. I find inspiration in stories that I hear about, people doing good and having sort of that mindset that no matter where you come from or what you do or what you've been through in life, but you can always turn it around into something positive and have a positive effect on other people's lives as well. And I think the more that we build that, the more people are positively affected. and the better it is for everybody all around. So yeah, I pull inspiration from lots of different places. My colleagues, my friends, my family. It's pretty easy to find the inspiration. It's just, you have to have your eyes open to it, so to say. So your antennas to be up and to be able to look at things from that perspective. You might have like a situation where you wouldn't think that you can find something that is inspiring there, but if you dig deep, it's oftentimes it's always there.
Brilliant. Absolutely. And before we move on, no pressure. You don't have to. Are there any particular organizations or any type of shout outs that you'd like to mention or no?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many great companies that are doing amazing stuff. One that I find really fascinating is it's Ecologist. So they're actually based in Victoria, and they have a store in Whistler as well. And I just really appreciate, their values as a company. They offer amazing catalog of different garments, and they actually do all of their production in downtown Victoria. And they also offer, free repairs for life. They stand behind their products, which is something that we really think is important. So yeah, like the Ecologist is a great company, and yeah, that's one of the companies that I really think is sort of a beacon for sure.
Perfect. Yeah, it's a tough question when we put people on the spot because it's like almost like picking your favorite child, right? You don't want to leave anybody out, but thanks for that. So before we let you get back to what you do and lead your people in your company, last question for you is centered around advice, maybe framed as wisdom or tips or lessons that you've learned or anything like that. And you might be speaking to people who are, an employee who are thinking about becoming an entrepreneur. Maybe they're already in like an entrepreneurial role at their company and looking to do something on their own, or maybe they're already an entrepreneur. So from that lens, is there any advice, tips, wisdoms, or lessons that you'd like to share with the listeners?
I think that finding a solution. So, instead of creating a product that is just sort of, something that is to be made, used, and discarded, to find a product that would be a solution to something, so like you want to find the solution to a problem, but also provide value to, whoever it is that you're reaching out to provide that service or product for them. So really taking a full step back and thinking, okay, so this product is being made. So am I making it the best way possible, following all the guidelines that adhere to our values as a company? So whether it's, fair wage or, the materials that you're using, are they sustainable? Like there's always a way. Every product can be created, and every product can be created with intention. And, to do these things is something that is always really important to keep, as well, not just thinking, okay, like, can I make the cheapest product fastest and sell the most and make the most money? That's not really going to do anything for society or the planet or everybody. Like you really want to have a solution and also provide, a positive place for people making the product, the materials sourced sustainably. So it's just looking at the full picture of how to provide a solution for something that people will value and appreciate, and not just, use and discard.
Yeah, so it sounds like start with the solution instead of starting with the product, because I guess in that way, if you're starting with the solution, it might be a different iteration of the product than you initially would have thought about, or maybe even a different product entirely if you're starting with the solution-based concept. Awesome. Well, Max, that's the end of the questions for you, and we always like to give the floor to our spotlight speaker if there's any announcements or anything that came up in the conversation, or maybe anything that we even missed to bring up or ask you. So the floor is yours if there's anything that you want to mention.
Oh, I think I'm muted.
We
The
can
microphone muted.
we can hear you. Oh, I muted.
Your microphone muted.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. Just to let
That's
you know
okay.
that at the end, we just like to give the floor to the speaker if there's anything that was missed, anything that came up in the conversation, or any announcements that you might have.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate you guys having me on today, and it was an awesome conversation. And yeah, I'm very excited for the new year coming up and for Grounded People. And it's going to be a great year. We have so many great things happening. New designs, new colorways, lots of great partnerships with our Laces charity program. And this is just going to be a great year looking forward. So yeah, thank you so much for having me today, and I really appreciate your time.
Well, thank you so much for giving us some of your time. It's been a wonderful conversation. And again, you can find out more online, www.groundedpeople.com, exactly how it sounds, groundedpeople.com. You can see more of these designs and more about what's going on with the company on Instagram at grounded.people, grounded.people. And of course, as we mentioned too, Grounded People is a publicly traded company on the Canadian Securities Exchange with the ticker SHOE, the ticker SHOE. This is by no means intended to be financial advice. This is more for entertainment and educational purposes only, but you can find out more about that on the CSE under the ticker SHOE. So everybody listening, thank you for joining Veg Networking Canada. This has been an excellent conversation with one of the co-founders of Grounded People in Maximilian Justus, and we will catch you again in the new year in 2023 for another episode of Veg Networking Canada. Take care and bye for now.
Bye.